Hi, I'm Rob with Skid Steer Genius. I'm here to introduce you to the latest harness that we've devised for the 96/108 grader blade from Bobcat. What this enables you to do is bypass the controller that's on here. However, it still will allow the controller to work with lasers. We've simplified this harness. We make it ourselves now, so we're no longer bound with buying the one that Bobcat produces. We make our own. And the part number is SG-BPH-GW-100. And this is a direct plug and play, and it does not require the side shift harness anymore. So before, the old harnesses, when we bought the Bobcat one, you would have to actually add another little harness in here. So now you're not buying two harnesses to make this work. You're only buying the one harness, and we have the extra side shifts directly built into the harness. Before, that was in the little jumper harness that we produced. So I'm just going to show you how this all gets installed. It's very quick. There's just 4 connectors here to plug it in. It's pinned out to the old Bobcat standard, which means it's the standard pinning that most manufacturers use, although there's a few nuances between a couple of them, like Cat D series as well as John Deere. This ASB has been geniused, so it has its own 14 pin that's been installed alongside the 8. So there's an 8 on this side, which is the factory harness, and then I installed my own 14 pin. For this to properly work though, you do need a super controller. So that's a Genius super controller. And what that does is it enables the 8 functions, which is your left blade up down, right blade up down, angle left and right, side shift left and right. So that's your 8 momentary functions, but also it puts power into the controller on pin K, and also gives you switching on pin A so you can run the laser receivers. You need to look for this. When you buy this, and if you plan on running lasers, if you're going to run the Bobcat lasers, this needs to be installed. We did find recently one up in Canada somewhere that did not have this harness installed, which that's the first time I've ever seen that. So don't come back on us if this is not on your blade. We have no way of knowing whether you have this installed or not. So now with these installed, it allows you to run the BRL2 receivers from Bobcat, and they will send CAN codes through this circuit into the controller and allow for auto adjustments through the computer in here. But you will be missing the screen because you no longer have a Bobcat machine which has the screen integrated in the machine. You're missing the screen. So what I always tell people is, if you do not already own that equipment from Bobcat, don't buy it. You're paying too much money for it and it's not needed. Anybody who sells, say, Spectra or Topcon, Futura, any of those guys that know how to install them will install it around the back side of the controller, and you won't even need the controller any longer then. It'll actually run off of the laser. And most of the receiver packs have a little screen that you can either mount here, or it'll have a long cord. It'll go inside your cab. You can mount it on a ram mount or something inside your cab. And now you can make minute adjustments on the fly. Because if you buy just this and you have it with the Bobcat receivers, you cannot make minute adjustments. You have to get out and manually move your mats. So that's a big problem. And the reason why people would still do that is they've tied up so much money with the Bobcat stuff that they don't want to go and have to rebuy it. So I completely understand. We originally set this up for that purpose, but now a lot of people are buying these blades because it is a very good blade, but people are buying them just so they can run lasers on them. And I always tell people, just buy your own lasers. Now I want to in particular let you know why this won't work on the different machine brands. Most machines only give you 6 outputs. So that would handle your left blade up down, that's 2. Right blade up down, that's 2. Angle left, angle right, that's 6 for total. So 2 plus 2 plus 2, that's 6. You're going to lose your side shift. And in some machines like Caterpillar, John Deere, you have to take your hands off the controls for 2 of the functions. So you could pin it out in such a way that you get your left blade up down, right blade up down on your handles. But then every time you want to angle the blade, you have to reach up off the handles, reach up into the cab somewhere and hit a toggle switch. In the case of Caterpillar, they make it even more difficult, where you have to switch from the rabbit, which is your 2-speed, switch it to the trigger. So one side is the trigger, then reach up, hit the aux 8 to switch it the other direction. It's a locking switch, so if you forget, it drives it all the way. So it's a real hassle. So we always just recommend buying one of the Genius super controllers. Put that in your machine, you'll never look back. It gives you 8 momentary controls, so it runs all the functions with joysticks, so you can literally run it like it's a video game. You can do multiple functions at the same time. You never have to take your hands off the sticks. And it gives you 2 locking features, as well as a powered pin K. Those 2 locking features allow you to operate your lasers, operate a sonic control, operate whatever you want, maybe a GPS, whatever you want to add on to it. It's already there, pinned out into the connector and ready to go. Now for the install. I've already pulled the cable through, so you can see it right here. Okay, and what you're going to see is on the main harness, going up into the controller here, you're going to see these 2 connectors. You want to pop these off, and this will be your 7-pin, and you're going to take our connectors, you're going to plug them into the same spot. Oops. Okay, and then these 2 are your side shift. What you do is just pop these off. It's the 2 small solenoids. They're one on top of the other. Plug it in, and then try your side shift the first time, and if it goes the wrong direction, just unplug these, swap them over. There's no use us even getting involved in what the color or anything is. You just try it one way. If it doesn't work that way, then just swap it. And again, some people have different preferences on how they want the blade to even work. So, and that's it. That's the install. These ones will just hang loose. This is your other, what's remaining off the harness. And what we've done is we've just bypassed the whole side shift, so we don't need a different adapter anymore. We can just use the main harness, and it's good to go. Yet another ingenious product from Skid Steer Genius.